All right, let me see if we live on this end. So, let's see. And I'm yep, says we live. I'm gonna mute your mic just for a moment.
Okay.
All right, we'll be right back in just a moment.
Kween Jasira.
Oh, Lagoon! May listen, we at
New
that
Africa.
level as new Africans, where the masses of the people recognize that we're existing under racism, white supremacy. And the only answer to that is the new
Abiji Gumbo
African
mixtape.
independence movement, an
I love
independent
it
sovereign
all.
nation under scientific socialism.
You need to quit the facade. You do not really go hard. You let them take all your heart. You let them tell you who God. You ain't real. You ain't ill. You just front. You should chill. This is war. This shit real. We need some soldiers who ready to kill for real.
My people, it's red day, but y'all acting scary. We need more than rhetoric, cause you think you conscious. So put up them crystals and pull out them pistols, cause we on a mission for land acquisition.
All of you niggas that claim you so woke, I'm finna come for your head. All of that knowledge you claiming you got, you niggas work from your bed. You bitches so fucking petty. You bitches just want some credit, but tell me, how in the fuck is you teaching my people when y'all niggas ain't even ready? Let's get in the feast. My people ready to eat, but we got some shit to defeat. We gotta become the beast, nigga. We gotta become elite. You cannot pray to a tiki. You cannot worry that shiki and think shit is peachy, nigga. This shit is deeper. Quit being a bitch to your people. You need to quit the facade. You do not really go hard. You let them take all your heart. You let them tell you who God. You ain't real. You ain't ill. You just front. You should chill. This is war. This shit real. We need some soldiers who ready to kill for real.
My people, it's red day, but y'all acting scary. We need more than rhetoric, cause you think you conscious. So put up them crystals and pull out them pistols, cause we on a mission for land acquisition. I'm coming through what you got for me to eat. I'm ready for war, for revolution, but bullshit is all that you feed me. Studying, reading these books, but problems is all you discuss. Complaining you grown, moaning grow old, but what about the solution? We want a seat at the table. Nah, we want our own fucking table. Yeah, freedom's a hallucination without our own RBG nation. What the hell are you waiting for? Don't be afraid of the war. If y'all only knew that you were slaves, then we would free a bunch more. Come on.
You need to quit the facade. You do not really go hard. You let them take all your heart. You let them tell you who God. You ain't real. You ain't ill. You just front. You should chill. This is war. This shit real. We need some soldiers who ready to kill for real.
My people, it's red day, but y'all acting scary. We need more than rhetoric, cause you think you conscious. So put up them crystals and pull out them pistols, cause we on a mission for land acquisition. N-A-I-M, 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 N-A-I-M.
Abiji Gumbo mixtape. I love it all.
Alana UFG of the Epic Blue United Front, the Vanguard. For
I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Never mind. Can you hear me now?
I was about
I'm
to say,
sorry.
I know I had my
You know,
issues earlier. I
yeah.
was like, can I do something?
No, it's good. I forgot when I play the music, I always muted on my mic on my roadcaster pro. Am I saying you're not right again? Welcome. Oh, it's feeding back pretty bad. Hold on. All right, welcome back. My mic was feeding back a while ago, but welcome back to Kofi Piesie, Warrior Scholar Show. I have a special guest, Kween Jasira. Am I saying your name right?
You are.
Okay. Can you please briefly introduce yourself to the people that may not know who you are?
Jasira. I'm based out of Memphis, Tennessee, by way of Aberdeen, Mississippi. As far as describing myself, I'm a revolutionary. I'm a singer, MC, songwriter, actress. Most importantly, I'm a mother as well.
No doubt. We definitely gonna get into it. I didn't know you said Mississippi. I'm from Mississippi. I didn't know you was from Mississippi. I knew you was your roots was up there in Memphis. You heavy up there in Memphis. I didn't know Mississippi.
Yes, yes. From Aberdeen, Mississippi, a little small town between Tupelo and Columbus, Mississippi.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I know where Aberdeen at. I know exactly
Uh-huh.
okay.
What
All
part of
right.
Mississippi are you from?
You know where I say Jackson. You know where Jackson at? I'm 55 minutes away from Jackson. I'm from a town called Brookhaven, Mississippi. But everybody know what Jackson is, so I just always say Jackson.
Right, 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 right. Yeah, my brother actually lives in Jackson.
Okay, okay, for
Hmm.
sure. All right. Do y'all ever go to the God, I hadn't been in a lot. I used to go all the time. The bookstore up there, African, not Pan African Connection, but
Because that's
oh
in Dallas.
golly, yeah, that's in Dallas. And
Mhm.
I just got off another podcast. That's why uh I can't think of the name of the place. It's escaping my mind. I used to go to it for years. I hadn't been up there in the last 2 years, but
Mhm.
they heavy in the community up there is uh the African Art Gallery. Have you ever been to the African Art
I have.
Gallery? It's
Yeah, I've been. It's been some years though, like you said,
mhm.
for me as well.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. I used to go all the time, but it's been a few years since
Hmm.
I go. I still go to Jackson a lot, but I hadn't been up there. Well, I'll take that back. I went last year. I went one time last year. Me and my wife went. I now that I think about it. But yeah, let's get into it though. First I wanted to define what a warrior, what a scholar is, and then from my perspective, what a warrior scholar is. So a warrior from the old North French wara, a warrior, a soldier, a combat, one who wages war, uh, one who wages war from the war. Warrior is a person who engaged in experience in warfare boldly, a person engaged in some struggle or conflict. A scholar is a person who attends a school or study under a teacher, a pupil, a person who has done advanced studies in a special field, a learned person, a holder of scholarship. From my perspective, when merging the two words warrior scholar, what is a warrior scholar? A warrior scholar is someone who is well studied and waging war against mistruths, pseudoisms, and willing to stand on the battlefield against institutions and platforms that promote that. A warrior scholar is someone who is on a mission for the truth, for accurate and sound information. A warrior scholar is one who is disciplined, good character, morals, and willing to fight back against those who use misinformation dangerously. So that is what a warrior scholar is from my perspective. And this sister that I have on the platform is a warrior scholar in her own right. So let's get into the interview, man. The first question, this question I give to everybody that come on the platform, everybody get this question. And since this is the warrior scholar, can you name a few of your warrior scholars? Who are your warrior scholars?
Yeah, my primary warriors is Mwalimu Baruti, based out of Atlanta, Georgia, and his wife Mama Ya Baruti. Those are definitely my go-tos in this particular day and age. As far as historically, um, our great ancestor, Khalid Abdul Muhammad, of course, and definitely Malcolm X as well. Um, Sister Asada, reading her book and understanding her story is also someone, that I look to just to balance things out. But my immediate counsel centers around the people that I named, when I'm trying to figure out what to do or how I should move as a new African. Um, that's who I look to. And then my personal teacher here in Memphis, Tennessee, who transitioned back in 2019, his name was Brother Hamisha Halifa Untumwa. And we called him Broham, because it was Brother Hamisha. But that was my personal um, teacher the entire time that I've been here in Memphis. I met him pretty early on, and he taught a group of us for many, many, many years. I hope that he would be around for many more to teach my son, but you know that didn't quite work out. So it's up to us to continue that path for the youth that come behind us. I can't hear you again.
My bad. I muted my mic while you were speaking, but I said I definitely can see the influence of um Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad in your music. And the song we just played, the favorite line in there is put down them crystals and
Yeah.
pick up those crystals.
Yeah, I had a lot of people mad at me about that line, to be honest with you. And so I just think that, is it's a time and it's a place for everything. That's one of the things that you learn. Like if you're a scholar, if you're a warrior, you learn how to move strategically, how to move tactically, and it's a time and it's a place for everything. You know what I mean? It's like, we're in a burning house. That's been said about our situation by some of our great ancestors, and it's still the truth today. And so it's not that, oh, something's wrong with crystals, but we're in a state of emergency. And so the time for being still and just focusing on those sort of objects in the hopes that we can become free, you know, yeah, it's not the time for that. So it's time for action. It's beyond time for action. We have to be the change we want to see. And so, it's nothing wrong with prayer, with spirituality. But as Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad stated, I pray that, I'm blessed with the ability to hold this gun straight and hit my target. You know what I mean? And it's, it's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, a lot of people were mad at me about that line, and it's like, no, I'm not knocking your spirituality or how you choose to commune with spirit. It's the fact that once you get through communing, you got to pick up something else so that we can strike a blow in the name of freedom.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I totally agree.
Hmm.
So a place and a time for everything. A place and a
Right.
time for everything. I love the line. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
So, um, hold on, I got off my questions. So, let me get back to my questions. All right. So, your connection to your African roots is a predominant theme in your music and performance. What age did you become conscious of this connection, and how has it influenced your artistic expression?
Well, I actually was later in life, and it's kind of weird because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and my brother, he even before my brother started going down the path he went down, I just always, even as a child, felt like, this ain't something just not right. You know what I mean? Like it bothered me that this was a religion that was created by white men. When I looked at, how Jehovah's Witnesses came, how that religion came into fruition. As a child, it bothered me when I would question things in the Bible, and I was sent to look at reference material that basically backed up what I was reading. It was other Jehovah's Witness material, and I always used to think that there should be something outside of this, because Jehovah's Witnesses say, it's the truth. We have the truth. And so if you have the truth, then the truth should be able to be substantiated outside of my current circumstance. So even as a child, I just remember, like, of course, the books that you refer me to that are other Jehovah's Witness books are going to back up what I'm reading, because it's a Jehovah's Witness book. So that just always bothered me. But then when my brother when I was a teen, he became a member of the Nation of Islam. And that's what really, really, really spoke to me once I was hearing what he was saying, the things that he was saying. Of course, my parents would try to keep him from being around me because, so I wouldn't hear, so that I wouldn't be influenced. But that was the first time that something struck a chord with me. And so when I moved here to Memphis, it'll be 20 years ago next year. When I was interviewing, I was recruited for the job that I have. I was recruited out of grad school. And so I had come down here for an interview, and there was a female, which I can't even remember her name, but we were cool. And so I told her I was coming into town, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna take you to the spoken word spot." And the spoken word spot was called Nappy by Nature. And I went in there, and it was just nothing but revolutionary nothing but revolutionaries in there. I mean, from it wasn't just all about being a warrior and fighting, but just revolutionary in terms of revolutionizing your thinking, shedding, what you think and so I became really, really close with Brothers Keeper, which is just a well-known spoken word group out of Memphis. And so one of the things that Brother Jamalo said, because he was talking about the Heart Project, um, and he was just talking about different things as far as that were put in place from a racism, white supremacy standpoint to negatively impact us, as people of African descent. But the one thing he said when he got through talking, he said, "Go do your own research, and if you find that I'm wrong, come back and show me that I'm wrong." So I left because I wasn't all the way where he was. So I'm like, nah, the Heart Project, Rex 84, like I can't believe, like I know some ain't right, but I can't believe it's at that level where it's like whole entire programs or, covert type things put in place to wipe us off the planet. So I did. I spent all weekend researching, and I could not, and I found exactly what he was talking about. So from that point on, I met up with those brothers the following week. They feed and clothe the homeless here in Memphis every 2 weeks and down to this day. And I went there and started putting in work, serving our brothers and sisters who are less fortunate. The brothers were going into the prisons, doing prison prevention trips for children here in Memphis, also going into the prisons to help our brothers and sisters that were there. And so that's when, and then of course they introduced me to revolutionary music. I hadn't heard of that before. So that's where that came from too. So yeah, about 20 years ago, just through a chance meeting at a spoken word spot is how I came into this amazing group of people. And through study individually and collectively with them is how I came into knowledge of self.
Okay, okay, beautiful, beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's and it's the same for me later on in life. Well, I became conscious, aware. That's all. Just becoming aware. I became aware. Like I wish I would have had this earlier on in life. And as you were saying, I grew up in a church. I was Baptist, raised
Mhm.
up in a Baptist church. And my father's he's a preacher, he's a Baptist preacher at a church now. And I just in my and his entire side of the family, I call them insane Christians. And
Mhm.
they is Christian out. But
Yeah.
I was raised up in the church, but I always my grandmother raised me, and if I didn't go to church with my father's sister, I went to church every other Sunday with my grandmother, and it was just something for me too. But it just something in my spirit wasn't sitting right at that time. So I was always questioned or asked questions, but I was always told you can't question God. But
Right.
I realized later on in life that they couldn't answer the questions because they didn't know.
Exactly.
So that was the favorite thing to throw out there, that you can question God, right?
Yep.
And and in one form of the book, it says our people been destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So in order to gain knowledge and understanding, you must first seek it. So me seeking and asking for questions, you should be able to give me that, but they wasn't able to, they wasn't able to give me that. And then later on in life, um, me being introduced to individual online, which sparked a conversation. Um, and this person giving me material to go read and telling me to go research it and verify for myself. I began to do those things, and then over time, I began to become a avid reader, an extensive reader, and a independent researcher. For the truth, which led me to publish several books, led me to be a part of a West African research group called Mossy Warrior Clan, to creating my own independent research group, which we created 5 different publications on African American and African culture and tradition and language called Kofi Piesie Research Team, as well as the Seshuma Ani Meta Nature Group, which we are aspiring scribes, which we learn how to transliterate and translate the meta nature, or what people may refer to as the hieroglyph. We don't need a racist white Egyptologist. So that's how I kind of got introduced into my start as well. So our story is kind of later on in life, but I wish it
Yeah.
would have been early on in life. I
Right.
feel like I would have been way ahead of what I am right now. I had to start fresh because we've been taught to have a low self-esteem through westernized school system that we send our children to. So they
Yeah.
learning about these white Greeks and Romans like
Yeah.
Einstein, Pythagoras, Thales, Euclides,
Yeah.
Alexander the Greek, so forth, Napoleon,
Yeah.
all these people, the Greek civilization. So um, it gives us a low self-esteem. It teaches us that we or our ancestors did not contribute anything into the world. So it conditioned us to believe that outside of our race, these are the intelligent ones. So these are the ones that we have to go to. We didn't contribute nothing, what I'm saying? So with that renewing of the mind of re-educating yourself, right? You re-educate yourself, and then you find out the truth that our our ancestors did contribute this, that, and the third. And when you think of high intelligence, when you think of high science, when you think about philosophy, when you think about theology, we were the forerunners of a lot of those things in the beginning, and we was here before anybody else was here. And this is nothing dealing with spookism. You know what I'm saying? When you understand science and you study science, you know what I'm saying, then you will understand what I'm talking about. When you study genes, you know what I'm saying, and so forth, then you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But
I lost you
oh
again.
okay, my bad. I might have muted myself. I keep trying to mute myself. Did you hear what I was saying a while ago about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
school?
I heard everything. I just
Okay, I
lost
must
the last few seconds.
yeah, I just probably just hit the mute button. But I've been listening to some of your music on YouTube, finding some of your music on YouTube, going back and doing trying to do my research on you. And so your musical style, I see it's a beautiful merge of elements of hip hop, reggae, and R&B.
Mhm.
So can you discuss the evolution of your sound, and how did you blend these genres to create your own musical experience?
Yeah, so I originally started out as a spoken word artist. Um, when I first moved here, like even when I was in high school back in Aberdeen, I was a member of like, Students Against Driving Drunk. And so I was known for writing poems and putting them all over the school. And so when I moved here, I just kind of stayed in that lane. Like I knew I could sing, but again, being a Jehovah's Witness, I wasn't really allowed to do extracurricular type things. So it wasn't until I moved here and I was riding around in the car with Brother Jamalo and I was singing along to the radio and he turned the volume down real quick. He was like, "You can sing?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I started singing background for a sister named Future. She had um, a reggae band called Future and Finger Pop. And so that was like my first introduction to reggae. And then it just, I was already like when I was singing before I moved here, anything I was singing was already along the R&B lines anyway. So, and as far as the hip hop, like I didn't even know I could do that. It wasn't until, working with Brothers Keeper and so Brothers Keeper, like they are and I learned a lot from them, which is where I think helped me meld because they also did all of that with R&B and with underlying kind of gospel sound, spoken word that they would mix into their spoken word, and then they would even do hip hop. And so when they would be performing, and if they had a performance where they had like a track where the person who was on the track rapping with them couldn't rap, they were like, they asked me like rap their parts. So I started doing it. And then I think one time I was collaborating with them on something and I was gonna sing, but I was like, I wrote a rap instead and I did it. And I didn't know I could do it. Until I did it. So yeah, it was just kind of seamless. It wasn't anything that was necessarily intentional, but you know, to get the message across, we have, our people with varying backgrounds. And of course, anything that you do, we are taught to be revolutionaries in doing it. So, to be as revolutionary as possible. And so I think that it just had happened naturally from working with those brothers so closely and just being influenced by them and how they were able to get the message across, because having those different genres and blending it in that way, you can, just reach, some people prefer hip hop, some people prefer reggae, and you just have different vehicles, to get to the mind and the heart.
No doubt. I think that's dope too. I really think it's dope. Like I said, you have a unique sound and you do it effortlessly. It's merging the hip hop, the reggae, and the R&B element, and element into your music, you know what I'm saying? And your music on top of that has a message. It has a powerful message. You don't have any negative, you're not painting a negative picture about us. You're not painting an unintelligent message about us through your through your music. And I like that you're using your music as a vehicle to liberate the minds um, of our people, and we need more of that. That's why I'm the Team RBG mixtape. I've been listening to it as you know every day. You know what I'm saying? And um, the article I wrote an article on Team RBG mixtape, and I'm saying this through every show that I do, that I use those three mixtapes as an institution. I look at those mixtapes as an institution, and each artist is a professor, and they're teaching in a certain class. So if you got 10 songs or 12 songs on this mixtape, 10 or 12 on this, and 10 or 12 on the other one, those are classes that you are going to, and y'all have, like I said, a message in the music. So if people don't know about Marcus Garvey, now they'll know about Marcus Garvey through the movement. They'll know about the UNIA through the music. They'll know about Malcolm. They'll know about Khalid Muhammad. They'll know about North Africa. Kemet was a great land. They'll know about West African culture and traditions. They'll know about revolution. How can we how can we rally and unify together? So it's a host of different things. So I salute each and every one of y'all for all of y'all coming together and showing unity. That mixtape in general is a reference point for people to go to. I like to use reference point. Like when I'm talking, I like to also use a reference point for certain things that I'm talking about. So that and because y'all are spread it out all over the state. So that in general is also showing unification. Every artist, every R&B or RBG artist is coming together for one common goal, you know what I'm saying? And that is to push the envelope, that is to push a message through the music, and that is to in by way of tones, by way of cadence, by the way of rhythm, is to liberate and educate the masses of our people, right? Young, old, you know what I'm saying, and middle age. So that's dope. That's dope. Um, can you do while we talking about team? Hang hold on, let me define this. Somebody calling me. So can you are we talking about Team Osiris? I mean, Lord, Team Osiris.
You're muted again.
Yeah, let's talk about the while we talk about Team RBG, let's talk about
Hmm.
how did your collaboration come about with RBG and what was your process in selecting the song um for the Team RBG mixtape?
Yeah, so brother Obafemi from Arkansas, I've been knowing him for years, for years. Sister Elnora, she has Sister Mental Sequence. She has her, annual Pilgrims Massacre. So just have been meeting and building with those brothers and sisters for years. In fact, the Pilgrims Massacre holds a special place in my heart because the very first one that was held, I found out I was pregnant with my son right before I hit the road from Memphis to go there. So that's always been a special place. And this past year, well, until my mom was ill, so I wasn't able to make the one this past year. But that one was going to be a full circle moment for me because that was the 10th anniversary of the series of the event, the event series. So but yeah, brother Obafemi, he reached out to me and I'm like, yeah, we've collaborated on, MCE, his group. I've collaborated on music with them before. And so, he reached out and I said, yeah, I would love it. And so, I mentioned brother, Broham, brother Hamisha, who was our teacher here in Memphis, in our collective, our warrior collective. And so brother Olagoon, who was one of the strongest warriors in that collective and someone who was just like a personal big brother to me, going on missions together and building and having a lot of time as a collective with him for several years, and just knowing that knowing personally that he was also a rapper, also a singer, also a producer and engineer. It just made sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're both artists, and then you have the tools to help bring something into fruition, via your production and your engineering. So I mean, what are we waiting for? So we did that, and so it was just perfect. Like, it just aligned perfectly, and just felt like that's what needed to be done. It was really seamless and really effortless, honestly, which is, I find when anything is seamless and effortless, it's like, woo, that means it was meant to be.
Yep, yep, yep. So what was the process behind picking that song? Was or it was just something you just grab, hey, I got this. I'm gonna shoot
Well,
this. Mm.
yeah, I think that song, when brother Obafemi told me what the concept was for the mixtape, and when he told me what gumbo stood for, that was like I said, it was a no-brainer. Like, that one has to go, because if we're talking about, we're using music to break oppression, what better song is talking about breaking oppression than, hey, we ready? We're ready to get to it. We've been studying, you know what I mean? And we're ready. So yeah, again, it just seemed like it was just perfect, honestly. The timing of us creating the song along with the timing of the project, it seemed like the song was created for that project and we just didn't know it at the time.
Okay, okay. Along with your music career, you ventured into acting. Can you talk about your experience on the screen this year? Do you prefer improvisation, I'm sorry, improvisation, acting, or working from a script? You've been posting a few of the clips of the movies that you've been in, and congratulations on that as well. So I don't know. I know nowadays in music they do the scripts as well as improvisation as well. So if you've done both, can you tell us which one you prefer, or do you prefer both? And can you explain your experience also as being aspiring actors and being on the screen?
Yeah, so far, yeah, last year was really frustrating because I was doing a lot of work, but nothing was happening. And so I've been blessed in that it's, mid-February, or a little past mid-February, and four projects that I was involved in have come out so far. And they've been half and half. Two were improvisational and two were scripted. Now, I'm a Virgo, so very grounded, very, methodical, very analytical, very organized. So for me, even though I can improvise, which I did in two of them, I prefer script just because, like, with the script, with improvising, and it might be because, sometimes I'm always thinking. And so when you're improvising, in the moment, I'm like, ugh, I could have, I think, go back and think like, oh, I could have done this or I could have done that. So with the script, you know, the first thing I do is get the words down pat, and then I go over it over and over and over again. And then, that's where I determine, oh, you know what, I want to add a little inflection here, or I might want to change up this one word there. So the script just allows me to be able to make it more me versus improv, which is kind of like you just doing it there in the moment and then you're moving on forward from it. So yeah, that's my preference. But of course, I can do improv. I have, so it's not a showstopper.
Yeah, and most definitely, I think if for me too, I'm a analytical person, and overthink a lot of things, and I try to be perfectionist on a lot of things. So I definitely will have to have I can adapt to both too, but I definitely would probably have to have that script as well. Like you said, I can be able to do more, be myself than improvisation. Um, having hold on, let me see. I got so many questions to see where I want to go. All right. Well, having a headline several notable festivals because I seen you. I've been trying to, like I said, been digging. And you've been working. You still working. I mean, you're a performer. That's what I see. I see you a performer, as well as an artist, right? So between acting and performing music, both in which performance or performance arts, do you have a preference? How do you discipline compare it in terms of creating fulfillment for you. So which, between acting and performing, which one?
Um, that's hard. That's really hard. Mm. I prefer. I can't say I prefer more. I maybe okay. If I have to pick one, I would say acting because it's the newest for me.
Mhm.
Um, and so yeah, I guess because yeah, I'm just getting back into it because I've done it before, but I'm just not really getting back into it. So it's exciting. It's different things. With performing, unless I'm performing some new music, it's kind of typically I'm the performances are along the same lines um, of music that I perform, but with acting, it's always something different, always a different character. So yeah, if I had to choose, I would choose the acting. Um, and what was the other part of your question? You said something about being disciplined. Did I answer
Yeah,
that one?
yeah,
Just
yeah.
making
You
sure.
kind of answer,
Okay.
how do the discipline compares to terms of creating fulfillment for you. So yeah, so is the discipline the same? You know what I'm saying in the music, as well as in the acting.
No, definitely not. I definitely put more effort nowadays into studying the craft of acting than with music. Now with my music, I still have a vocal coach. I still make sure that I do that. But with acting, there's definitely more effort there because I've been singing since I moved here to Memphis almost 20 years ago, like I mentioned before. And so it's kind of like second nature for me. Um, now of course having a vocal coach, I am unlocking certain vocalizations and certain ranges that hadn't necessarily been there before. But with the acting, the thing about acting is that Tubi gets a bad rap not only because of the cinematography, but also because of the acting sometimes. So, we've all watched something and been like, you know what, that acting wasn't good. So yeah, my goal is to um the art of acting is really not acting. You're not really supposed to act like, I'm not going to act like a doctor. No, I'm going to become the doctor, in that way. And that's what makes things believable. And so just working on those aspects of acting, it is a little bit more disciplined because when you're performing, like when I'm performing and I'm performing with a band, it's a lot of other elements there on the screen. I mean, on the stage with me. And so, if I mess up or if we mess up, we can rewind the song, or we can, it's just things that you can do. But on screen, the camera is directly on you, and and it catches everything. Every tick of the face, every facial expression. So, there's definitely a little bit more discipline there for me just to be able to, portray a believable character on screen.
Yeah, I like how you said becoming, not acting, but becoming the person. I like some Tubi movies. My wife watch Tubi all the time. So there are some good movies on there, but some of the movies I think, it should have been a script. Improvisation is sometimes good if you can do that. But, some people can't do that, and sometimes some of the movies to me be rushed. They be rushed instead of doing a take and doing it over and over and over until you get it right. I think they're just rushing some of the production and just putting some of those things out to do a movie. I'm hopefully one day. I'm a publisher. I got my own publishing company. I'm a writer. I'm a ghostwriter, and I wrote and I ghostwritten a movie script for an individual. Hopefully, he'll be able to do something. He's trying to shop it and do some things with it right now. But I also wrote my own movie script. I want to be able to put my own movie out, but I don't want to do the improvisation. I want to do, everybody got a script. Everybody gonna follow the script. You can add your own sauce to it and do what you need to do, but everybody has a script, so it's more professional. And then you got time, like you said, as becoming the person and not getting up there and acting. You are this person. You can tap into that. So that's dope what you said, though. I like that. Not I'm not an actor. I'm not acting, but becoming that person. Um, yeah, and again, congratulations on that. You in what you and about three so far at the end of the year and at the top of this year, correct?
Yeah, the fourth one actually just came out on, I wonder, was it the 14th? So the fourth one actually just came out on the 14th. But yeah, there was one at the top of the year that was called oh, why can't I not? I'm looking at the poster. It's gonna come to me. But I was in The Essence of Eternity, Blackface White Mask, and then the last one that came out was Fed Up. The first one was Heavy Pieces. Heavy Pieces by Pie in the Sky Productions. Essence of Eternity, that was a series. And it was by Two Women in an iPhone Productions. And then you had Blackface White Mask, which was a short film by Movie Go, and then Fed Up by Keith McNeil with Venture Quest Films, which was a short film too. So yeah, very very excited about those things, and have like a couple of other things. I did a play last year, so had an audition for a play. So I think I got a part in a play. I'm just waiting for that validation. And then there's also a series that we've been shooting since last year, just taking our time with it, called Toxic, that we're shooting. And then I landed a part of a Yoon. It's kind of like the character is kind of given Angela Bassett in Black Panther, that type of vibe, in a movie that's called Thorn. So those are the next three things that I'm working on, and just gonna keep working.
Oh, most definitely, most definitely.
Of course, and then of course there's my album, In My Element. So working on my album as well. I'm halfway through with that. So I'll be hoping to drop that in the summer or early fall.
Okay, most definitely. We definitely be checking out for it and checking out. So for people that might want to check out those movies, all those movies are on you on Tubi. Are all
So
of them?
heavy. So the essence. Hmm?
You go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. I was saying the essence of so. Oh, okay. So Heavy Pieces, I think is streaming on Tubi now. I think I just saw where the production company released it. So it's either on Tubi or Amazon. But if you know, I'm sure we'll get to a point where I share how people can follow me or whatever. But if you follow me, then I'll be posting all of this. Fed Up, the last one, is currently on Facebook, but it should be on YouTube in another week or two. Um, Blackface White Mask is currently right now only in a virtual theater that's on Facebook. And The Essence of Eternity is on, it's a YouTube series, so it's on YouTube.
No doubt, no doubt. I'm gonna have to check some of them out. Um, all right, and like I said, you a performer, like you're a performer. So, having headlined several notable for festivals and opening up for major figures in the reggae scene, could you share some highlights from these experiences and how have they shaped your career?
Yeah, so definitely got to open up for Ja 9 and Etana, who are um, two strong female forces in reggae music. Also got to open up for Bob Marley's son, Kymani Marley. Um, and I can't it's escaping me, but another group that we opened up for recently, they sing "Rally Round the Flag." It's one of my favorite reggae songs because they actually start the song off by talking about Marcus Garvey, um, and they break down the colors. You know, red. You know, the song is, Marcus says, so Marcus said, red is for the blood, Africa. Like, and I just really love that song. It's a really revolutionary song. We just opened up for that group last year, and I think, like for me, I always sometimes have imposter syndrome. I'm just like, I'm not Jamaican. I wonder how they feel about us singing, singing their music. Um, and so I always get a little in my head about it, especially, when we're opening up for people that are true forces in reggae. So, but it's very humbling. Like they are strong. Ja 9 is just, and Etana, they're just so elegant, and when you look at the state of music today and how our women present themselves, and not only lyrically but also how they look, it's just so different when you have these women in reggae who are so divinely feminine and who are strong. They are warriors as well, and it's just so, it just lights a fire in you because sometimes as women, we end up, and most times, I can't see where we as women would intentionally choose to be more masculine in nature. Just life circumstances sometimes put us in those positions when you're like a single mom, or or if you didn't grow up with a strong man in the house that allowed your mom to be her divinely feminine self. And sometimes we are, can tend to be a little bit more rough around the edges because of our trauma, and feel like we have to be, there's a difference between being assertive and aggressive. So, and sometimes we tend to be a little bit more aggressive than we have to be because, we're survivors, we're warriors. And so being around women in that, because no matter what we do is primarily male dominated, but being able to be there and still be divinely feminine and strong and elegant and graceful and get your point across in a quiet but powerful with, and it's just very inspiring. And so it definitely shaped me, because when I was started out doing reggae music, I was primarily covering male artists, but that just really helped me tap into the balance, have the balance there. And so definitely John 9 was just watching her perform, and she didn't come out dressed all to the nines, like she didn't have a lot of flair. She was just dressed normally. Like if you saw her, you would think she might be, about to go hit up Walmart. It wasn't about the look, it was more so about the message. And it didn't distract from the message. It made you hone into the message a little bit more. So that definitely, watching those two definitely helped me, as far as my presentation as well.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, and I know they not you doing a marvelous job. So ain't nobody, saying why, you saying imposter syndrome. I know they welcome you with open arms. And that's what it seems like on the
Yeah, they
videos
do.
I've been looking at. I seem like they just embracing you as one of theirs, and I see everybody's excited, when you up there performing. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So
Facts.
I got one more question for you, sis. And
Okay.
as a woman, as an African woman in the music industry, what advice would you offer to any other African woman who aspire to pursue a career in music while maintaining their authenticity and not succumbing to the pressures of over sexualization or over sexualizing themselves?
Yeah, my advice would be, who are you? Define who you are, and define, when your children, your grandchildren, and when you're no longer here and you're an ancestor, and the family is talking about you and keeping your memory alive amongst those who have come behind you. What is it that you want to be remembered for? And do you want to be remembered for the music, that you're putting out, and for the things that you're saying in that music, and how you look while you are saying those things in that music? You know what I mean? Um, your music, what will be its purpose? What do you hope to accomplish? With your music, is it something that deep down can be, that it would, those who come behind you would be proud of, and so there's only one you, and no one knows how to be you better than you. So why try to be like anyone else? There's power in being unique. Some of the most beautiful people and most beautiful places and things are unique. They're not like anything else. People will gravitate toward authenticity, before they gravitate to anything else. That's what draws a person in. And so just be you. And the reason, that you may be pressured to be like others is because that's easy. It's easy to be like others. It's easy to be just another face among a lot of other faces that are already doing the same thing. But um, they want you to think it's easy, but it's actually just easier to be yourself. And then you'll sleep better at night. You know what I mean? You'll sleep better at night. You'll feel better about yourself. And I find that when I be authentically me, like I'll just be honest, like, people say that imitation is the highest form of flattery. So, what I found is, people will definitely be influenced by you. But the thing about it is that when you're being you, so many other things unlock. Like so many ideas come to my head, so many concepts come to my head. And that's because I'm being myself. I'm not trying to think or be like anyone else, because that's where you'll get stagnant. So that would be my advice. Just, be someone that you want to be proud of, that your children will be proud of, your grandchildren, even your grandmother and your parents. And when you're not here anymore, what is it that you want people to remember and to think and to say about you when you're gone? What kind of impact do you want to have? And then go from there, and just remember, if it's not building us up, it's tearing us down. It's no one without the other.
Yes, yes, yes. I like that. That's why for me, African centered education is important. Um, to give to our children. Then when they coming up, they'll understand integrity. They'll understand, you mentioned the word ancestor, right? So they'll understand, in order to be an ancestor, you got to be an elder, right? And so
Hmm.
there's things that you have to go through your rites of passage in order to be recognized by your family or your tribe or your community, right, as an adult. So to be recognized as a adult or a human being, you have to go through certain things. So you have to understand what a woman is, you have to understand what a man is, you have to understand what unification is, you have to understand um working, you have to understand what good character is, because African culture and tradition is about character building. It is about building one character, one rising to the highest human as possible. So if we had those African centered educations in the home and we went through those rites of passages, then when we venture out in these other industries and we venture out in these other niches that we venturing out into, we will approach them with good character, because that's what African culture and African centered education is cultivating and building up character, good character. In the Isheshe Legba tradition is Iwa Pele and Iwa Riri, gentle character and good character. And good character, when you one has good character, one has respect for himself, one have respect for his family, one is have compassion and empathy, right? One acknowledges someone else's existence, and so forth. So many different characteristics. When it comes to that, then a lot we want to come to a lot of the being pimped out. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of the women in these industries, they believe in order for them to have exposure, for them to be popular, for them to make tons of money, that they have to over sexualize themselves. They have to talk about their private. They have to talk about the men's private. They have to talk about what goes on in the bedroom in order to, succeed in the music industry. So I asked Dr. Ifa Jai the same question the other day, and I forgot to ask Sister Eleanor Wesley, aka Mental Sequence, the same questions, because I see uh, this repeated cycle in the music industry of women over sexualizing themselves, you know what I'm saying, just for the bread, you know what I'm saying, just for the popularity, just for the, just for the fame. And nobody is being unique anymore. And like you said, uniqueness stands out more than anything else. And and that's what I follow my path by is Alexa back there talking. She must have think I'm talking about the weather. But me being unique, and I'm a part of so many different independent research groups, but I'm unique in my own right. So I present information differently than I present with other. I act a certain way. I don't act the same way as the others act a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I speak a certain way. You know what I'm saying? I try to look a certain way. So uniqueness, is always a good quality, a good trait, and it stands out in being yourself. And but I just believe that African centered education we would have, we wouldn't be pimped out as much. We wouldn't give other people ammunition, you know what I'm saying, to talk about us. You know what I'm saying? We get mad when they talk about us about certain things, but we give them the ammunition, you know what I'm saying? And that's because in a lot of senses we don't know. And going back to the school system, it's just we don't see ourselves in the school system, and the school system doesn't uplift us in a positive manner. They speak of us in a nature of being inferior, right? And it gives us that low self-esteem about ourselves, low self-esteem about our people. But if we have that African centered education, then we'll understand that we are great people, and we understand that our ancestors contribute so much to the world, um, and our ancestors contributed so much so that we able to have some of the liberties that we have. We're not completely free. We still have a lot of work, to put in to get to where we want to be, at, you know what I'm saying, as a black people, you know what I'm saying, social, politically, and economically. But sister, I want to say thank you, and I appreciate you for um allowing me to interview you. For those that may want to reach out to you for whatever reason, can you give some of your social media handles on how they can reach out to you?
Mhm. Sure, sure. First, thank you for having me. I'm very honored that you reached out. So as for just a couple of things like what you said, as far as becoming an elder, like you talked about ancestors and becoming an elder, we have to remember that there's a difference between an elder and old people, and we're in an era now where we have, both, and becoming an elder and becoming older, that is a badge of honor. And, and we should strive to be an elder because we are, um, we're basically positioning our youth for the future and for that liberation and for what we want for our children and our great grandchildren and grandchildren. We might not live to see it, but we are paving the way through them as as being elders and being those examples, when we get to the point of becoming elders, that we can usher in that reality for them through them. And what you said about the schools is very true too, because the first person to the mind is the winner. And so that's of course why they are teaching that inferiority complex to us, while simultaneously teaching a superiority complex for themselves. Because they don't want us to know the greatness from which we come from and the greatness that we could be again.
You done froze up on us, sis. Yeah, she done. We'll give her a second. She'll have to pop back in here. She must be having a connection issue. Um, but peace to the people in the chat. Peace to those who came in for a little bit and popped out. Peace to those who stayed. The duration of this this interview, we'll give her about 2 minutes to see if she pop back in. Let me see what Old Fame is saying. We have plenty queens representing and exemplifying good character. Yes, we definitely have, man, but we have a lot of those who are, you know, um over sexualizing themselves. There's so many people I hate. I just not hate to use the word hate. I dislike. I dislike a lot of the hip hip hop females in today's time. It gets no ride in my car, gets no ride in my house. Uh yeah, he says balance is key. Yeah, balance is key. I can't stand none of that over sexualized music from certain people. I feel like, especially, I got daughters. So I don't want my daughters listening to that. And then I got a son. I don't want my son listening to that and thinking that's how you supposed to treat a woman. You know, that's what you're supposed to say to a woman, call out her name, dog her out. Um, that's just me, man. So I just don't listen to it at all. My kids will tell you we in the car on the road. Most of the time, if I'm in a vehicle, I'm not listening to music. I like to read. I'm an avid reader. So if I got an audio book on, so if I leave the house from reading a book that I enjoy, about an audio, I'm an immersed reader. I'll just put it like that. So I do both. I read the book and listen to the audio book at the same time. There she go. Let's get her back in here. All right. All right,
Hey,
there
can
you
you
go.
hear me? I
Yeah.
don't know what happened.
You froze up. The internet connection probably got bad on your end and it
Oh
froze
my
you up.
goodness. I was
Mhm.
freaking out over here.
No,
But yeah, I was wrapping up what I was saying just about, the first mind to the winner. That's why, our children are being taught the way that they're being taught in these schools. It's all a part of the bigger overall order of racism, right, white supremacy, you know what I'm saying, in order to make us agents in our own demise. Um, but to get to the question that you asked, which is how people can reach me, like you see Kween Jasira on the screen. That's how you spell my name, Kween Jasira, and I'm that across everything. My Facebook page is Kween Jasira, Instagram is Kween Jasira, YouTube is Kween Jasira. So yes, and my email is queenjasira@gmail. My website is queenjasira.com. So it's Kween Jasira everywhere. So yes, please follow me, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Visit the website, inbox me, email me. I'm here for the people, working for the people, and so I'm just open to collaborating with family, meeting new family, and just like I've enjoyed meeting you, brother, and being a part of this podcast, and I really thank you.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. I'm glad to have you on. I enjoy and discussing. Like I said, each person, I've been interviewing so many of the Team RBG people this month. And I mean, y'all are some talented and amazing people. The more I'm digging, I'm like, dang, okay, okay. So, y'all keep on doing the work, man.
Thank you. We will.
Y'all keep inspiring people because like I told them, the mixtape in general. I know Obafemi. Obafemi is my brother, and anytime I stopped the Warrior Scholar Show for 2 years. I just started it back. So when Obi reached out to me, and I interviewed a bunch of them collectively, you know what I'm saying, and just talking to some of the brothers, and then them explaining the infrastructure of Team RBG, and me listening to the mixtape over and over and so it motivated me and it inspired me to start this show back so we can have those discussions about freedom, about liberation, what can we do to change our circumstances socially, politically, and economically. How can we approach certain things through music, through the education, and through any type of art or any type of niche that we go through, the importance of good character, the importance of unity. So, I appreciate y'all. Y'all sparked
Thank
that,
you.
which relaunched Warrior Scholar Show, this month. And so I'm calling this series Team RBG Black History series.
Yeah.
Been doing these series of interviewing of each individual. And like I said, as I'm tapping and researching each one of each one of y'all, I'm seeing how dope y'all are. And how intelligent we are, and how sincere that we are, and how we're truly who we say we are. We really about the people. We really about the community. We really about building up and not tearing down. You know what I'm saying? We really about strategizing. We really about unifying. And like I said, the mixtape is a reference point to show people about unification. Here are a bunch of people from across the state who unified for one collective goal, and that is to spread a message through the music, right? A positive message, to paint a positive picture about our people. So again,
Yes, indeed.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And if you need me for anything, just reach out to me at any time. And if I'm willing to
Likewise.
talk about, I will. So
Yes, sir.
again, I appreciate y'all. We'll be back tomorrow. I'll be interviewing Brother Son the Great. I'll be interviewing
yeah.
Son the Great at
Okay.
6 p.m. Central Standard Time. So y'all tap into that interview. And at the end of the month, I'm gonna take all of them. I'm gonna chop each interview up, and I'm gonna do a whole week of RBG Black History things that you can tap into. I'm gonna take some clips and clip them up, and I'll clip it out through the whole week as this end of this week end. I mean, at the end of this month, at the end of this month. So again, we out of here. I'm gonna leave y'all with Kween Jasira song. Put down those crystals.
Yes, indeed.
All right, we out. Let me see where the song is so we can play the song again. Okay, here it is. We out. Peace, y'all.
Kween Jasira.
Oh, Lagoon! May, listen, we at
New
that
Africa.
level as new Africans, where the masses of the people recognize that we're existing under racism, white supremacy. And the only answer to that is the new
Abiji Gumbo
African
Mixtape.
independence movement, an
I love
independent
it
sovereign
all.
nation under scientific socialism.
You need to quit the facade. You do not really go hard. You let them take all your heart. You let them tell you who God. You ain't real. You ain't ill. You just front. You should chill. This is war. This shit real. We need some soldiers who ready to kill for real.
My people, it's red day, but y'all acting scary. We need more than rhetoric, cause you think you conscious. So put up them crystals and pull out them pistols, cause we on a mission for land acquisition.
All of you niggas that claim you so woke, I'm finna come for your head. All of that knowledge you claiming you got, you niggas work from your pay. You bitches so fucking petty. You bitches just want some